Hi, today we're going to look at a particular use case where we can find how many staff were in a payroll on a particular day, irrespective of the current staff's employment status. So even if the staff have left, we can still find out how many people were there previously. So we have a sample data set like this, and where you can see the date left is blank, and we are going to like fill that with today's date and or dynamically today's date. So from there we'll create a very simple report. So here we're going to focus on the DAX formula. And so these are the pillars of Power BI. So it's very important to understand like this video is going to cover only that particular DAX predominantly. So we look at a DAX formula, how it's going to help us. And apart from the DAX, we'll learn few other things like second thing is the how to troubleshoot if you find a data type error. And also in this example, we'll see how we are going to replace null values with dynamically today's date. And also we'll look at how ChatGPT can help with the formulas, and also look at how to create a very simple date table that will automatically expand our contract depending upon the minimum and the maximum date. Hi, I'm a data analyst specializing in Power BI, Power Automate, both in cloud and desktop version, and also I know a little bit on Power Apps. So learning from the online community has been incredibly valuable, but sometimes finding the right solution can be challenging. That's why I love to share what I learned for free, and your support means a lot for me. And please comment, like, or subscribe to my channel. Together we can share and learn and grow. Hi all, today I'm going to share with you a simple DAX that will help you to identify, like in this case we have the staff name, date of joining, and date left. So the DAX will help you to find out the count of staff that were working in a particular organization on any given date. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the date format. So I'm going to change it to date, month, and 4 times year. So I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to enter. So this is going to change. It looks far better than the long text, so it's fine. And we also have the blank date. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the blank date as today's date. Okay, so that like it will show like until today. Yeah, so that's one thing. And how I'm going to do that, I'm going to Power Query. So let me just go to Power Query. Okay, so to replace null with today's date, I'm just going to right click on this and replace values. And I'm just going to just put A, okay? Oh, not A. Maybe let's put 1, okay. No, it's not working. Okay, so I want to replace the null value with today's date dynamically. So I'm just going to create the formula structure. So here I can't put any like A or B because it's a date column, so I'm going to put a dummy date. Okay, so now if you see here, okay, so here we can see, so based on the replace, it's going to pick the date that I manually entered. So I just hard coded it. Okay, so but we don't want that. We want it to automatically pick today's date as per the system date. So what I'm going to do is like, if you don't know the code, if you're not comfort, if you don't know what is the exact code to use that, like you can ask ChatGPT. So that's what I have done. So I just opened a ChatGPT and said in Power Query, how do you replace null with today's date? So I am also specifying I want only date, not the date and time. So initially it gave me like null, then it gave without date dot from, and I got it as like date and time. Then I said, okay, I don't want the date and time, so it will say date from this code. So I actually want this particular code alone. So this is what it's going to do. So I'm just going to copy this one and go back to my this particular part of the code. Okay, so you can read this now, right? So it's a replacer step. So it's going to replace the value. So wherever it is null, it's going to replace with the current date. So as you saw in the previous step, I hard coded it. I'm going to replace this now. So keep an eye on the date. So from row 11 it was 1/1/2023, and now it will change it to today's date. Okay, so this is fine. So wherever there's null, so people who are still working the organization, we'll assume they are still in the system on that particular date. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to apply and close. So it'll come here, and if we go back to this one, I'm going to say apply. Okay, that's good. And the next step, what I want to do is I want to create a disconnected table. So the purpose of that table is I want it to give me all the possible dates between the minimum of the date joined and the maximum date left. Okay, so that like when we bring that into a particular graph, it will have all the dates listed there. And we can also have a filter so that when user selects one date, it will show them how many people were working there. So to create that, like how we normally create a date table, I'll just go to new table, and I'll just mention using add column function, and I'm providing the parameter the minimum of the my source table. So to take the minimum of date joined, then it will go through the maximum of date left. Then from here, I'm just creating additional column, which is year, and year is straightforward. So you can use year formula, and month you can just use this format from this date, and you'll get the month name. So you can change it as per your requirement. For the simple example, I just have these four columns. So even here, I prefer to change this to, so I'll just say date. Okay, that's fine. Okay, sweet. Okay, so this is the formula that I'm going to use to find out the number of line items or number of staff who are available on a particular date. So the first component, what I'm doing is I'm saying variable selected date, which is from the disconnected date. So then only it will pick one date. Okay, then I'm writing a variable running, which is filter. So it's going to create like a table. Okay, it's going to filter this particular table that I have in my model, and it's going to filter based on these conditions. So if the date joined is less than or equal to the selected date, okay, and the date left is greater than or equal to the selected date. So when these two matches, it will just filter that. So it will create a sub table. So what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to return the count rows for this sub table. Okay, so as I said, like at any given point of time, so what is that given point of time? The selected date. So the selected date is whatever the user selects or whatever is the filter context that is applied. So I'll show you when we do the graph. So I'm just going to click OK to this one, maybe reduce it. Sorry. Okay, so now I'm going to bring a simple, maybe, yeah, maybe I'll just bring this one here, and just the dates and the code. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so here you can see, okay, on each day, what is the number of staff who are employed in that particular group. Okay, So I'm also going to bring some okay, so I'll bring like a card. So just have this particular formula. Okay, so it's showing blank. The reason is I have not selected any particular date. So I'm going to bring a filter, okay, of the dates. So I have the dates here. Okay, so I would prefer to have a selection option which is vertical list. Okay, so you can have like different things. You can have like even year in this one. So if you want to, yeah, the first thing I want to do is don't summarize. Yes, and also the month number because I don't want it to add up. And yeah, any such some like summary or anything, always I would suggest you do it with DAX so that we can kind of use that particular DAX or sorry the measure to use it on other measures. We can work further. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this year here and also the month number for now. Yeah, so they can like always go to a particular month and select a particular month or a particular date. Okay, so when I selected this particular date, 1st of July 2017, so there was two staff who were working in that period of time. Okay, so similarly, yeah, you can do any kind of selection. So even I can, oh, I don't have the search. So okay, we don't have the search option. The search option only comes for text. So that's fine. So how can we test this one? So I'm just going to bring the data in a table form just to test it. So let me just bring the date of joining and date left. Okay, so I'm going to sort the data, sort it by date of joining. Okay, so let's yeah, let's pick 14th of July 2018. So I'm going here, I'm going to July and 14th. Okay, so let me click on this one. Okay, so I get like 3 count. Okay, so on 14th, okay, so let's see whether there were 3 people who were working in that time. So because I sorted this, okay, so this is my selected value. Okay, so this is my selected value. So when I select 14th of July, okay, so it will check, it will create a sub table where it will say based on the minimum date and the maximum date, it will create a small table. So let's check. So David Hall, he joined on 5th of June and he's still continuing to work. Okay, so that's fine. So he's 1 and this person is 2, he's still continuing to work, and this person is 3, he's still continuing to work. Okay, that means the data is correct. So I did some customization to the reports. I got some filters and I just like did a small labeling on top. So when you pick a particular date, it will say like what was the count on that particular date. So maybe we'll pick another one, 11th. Yeah, or we'll go to 2022 and let's see. Okay, so on 18th of July 2022, they on that particular day they have like 23 staff in payroll. So I'm going to click on clear filter and I have another page where we can see the graphical representation. Okay, so here it shows like yeah, the number of staff on a particular given date. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any comment, any suggestion to improve this kind of content, please share your inputs. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.